Today we're going to talk about the different types of economies. What is a different economy? So the easiest way to think of this is to think of another country and just think about a market or a marketplace where goods are bought and sold. So maybe you're thinking of a Walmart, maybe you're thinking of a mall, maybe you're thinking of an outside market with a bunch of just random vendors and little shops and little tents everywhere where you can go in and out and buy different things. So that in itself is a small economy. Different economies exist in, well, I'm supposed to start the timer now, not start it now. Let's hit the timer. So different economies exist in different nations, and there are going to be different rules that those different economies. So every little market you're thinking about has different rules. And the biggest difference that we need to understand is how much the government is involved in that mall. How much is the government involved in that market with all the tents and the little shops? So does the government decide what you can buy and sell and how much of it you can buy and sell and what the prices of those specific goods are going to be and what goods are available? Or is the government pretty hands-off, laissez-faire? They're not involved. They let you do your own thing. That's the biggest difference. A free economy has very little government involvement. Over here, you have a government not involved in that market. So again, we're using the word a market as an example for an economy. And over here in this economy, this type of economy, this market, it's more of a command where the government commands the economy. The government is in control of the economy. If the economy was a car, the government's driving it. Over here, if the government's a car, it's up to the people to drive it whichever direction. That's the two major differences. And most economies are going to fall somewhere in between. They are mixed economies. Now, I'm just going to simply go through the facts. This is a divisive lesson now. When I created this PowerPoint around 8-10 years ago, this was not a touchy subject. There were no taboos in talking about command economy and communism. Most people agreed that this was bad, and no one thought this was a good idea. But things have changed a lot, so I am not going to pass judgment. I would encourage you to debate and argue and fight with the students and the teachers. Don't physically fight and use evidence. Don't be rude. Don't have ad hominem attacks. Talk about the ideas and the beliefs and use examples and evidence to debate which is the better type of economy in class. I am not going to do that because I don't want to spend all day deleting angry comments on YouTube. So I will just present the facts and the differences. It might be slightly boring, but take this information and take it into the classroom and have some honest, real conversations about what is the best economy for you or what is the best economy for the advancement of civilization. So a lot of government, free economies. Now, it's not free as in everything's free. It's free as in free from government involvement. The government makes all the decisions. Over here, individuals get to choose. You decide where you're going to live, how you're going to live, what house you're going to live in, whether you have a car or not a car, what kind of car you're going to buy, what kinds of clothes you buy. I know it's hard to imagine an economy where this doesn't exist. This is all we know. But this command economy, which was pretty much dead, no one wanted to do it, this idea is coming back. Now, a lot of people who believe in this idea, they don't really want the government to make all decisions, but they also kind of do, because the only way that you can have a command economy, the only way you can get communist equality is the government has to take control and start making decisions. The government has to take control of property. In the end, the government is going to own all property and then divide the property amongst people. And the theory is, well, if the government owns everything and they share everything, then everything is equal. I'm not going to go into the problems with that, but there are many problems. Over here, we have private property. You own your property. You buy your property. You take care of your stuff. And if you don't have property, then that's on you. You should have saved your money. You should have gotten a better job. You should have made better choices. Over here, you can make as many bad choices as you want because the government's going to give you property. Try not to be political. No profits. This is profit-driven. The entire economy exists for people to make money, and with that money, they can grow their businesses and provide more services, and with that money, they can provide for their family. Now, the people that love command economies love to attack the free economy because it's all about money, and they like to envision Scrooge McDuck diving into a pot of gold and swimming around, and he's so greedy, and that's why a free market capitalist economy is all about making money. Sure, if he makes money, he can swim around in his pot of gold or his vault of gold. But the reality is these businesses that make money then use that money to grow their business, which creates more jobs. Or they use that money to grow their business, which provides more services to people. This idea that, well, it's all profit-driven, it's just the rich getting rich. Yeah, they're getting rich, but in the process, they're creating more business, they're creating more jobs, they're creating more opportunities, they're creating more services. but not often do we have that argument. Over here, there are no profits. The government owns everything, and which again, it's equality. It's all equal. But the problem is, if I'm treated equal and we're all ending up in the same spot, then why would I work hard if we're all going to end up in the same spot? That's one of the complaints and arguments against communism or a command economy. If it's all just going to be equal and I'm going to get $100 every week, then why work harder than that guy if he's lazy and he gets $100? Right? You know what? I'm gonna out lazy him. I'll do even less and still get $100. There's no competition, which creates drop in quality of goods. Over here, we have competition, which results in lower prices of goods, which is good for us, and higher quality of goods because we have McDonald's and Burger King competing. Consumer sovereignty, we determine what's made because people have the power as a consumer. We talked about that before. Over here in a command economy, consumer sovereignty doesn't exist. It's the government that makes the decisions. The government's going to decide whether we make blue jeans or whether we all have to wear khakis. North Korea, Cuba, it's very rare. These don't exist. Every one of them have failed. Every command communist economy has failed. You can do more of your research. This is not a political statement. These are facts. This is complete empirically proven that we can look at all the command economies that have existed and they've failed because it's human nature. As a human being, would you rather the government, whoever they are, this mysterious government, these people in a building over in Washington, D.C. with suits on, would you rather have them own property and make all the decisions, or would you rather have the freedom to choose? Would you rather have the ability to own your own property? Would you rather be able to compete so that you can make money? Or would you rather have the government just make everybody equal? Like they can just smack their hands together and say, everyone is equal. Human nature and basic common sense would let you know that this is not going to work, folks. It's not going to work. And even the people that think it's going to work are the same people saying, well, people are greedy. You're greedy. You're swimming in your money. Well, if people are greedy and they're swimming in money, then they're not going to want this. A mixed economy is mainly what we see around the world, not completely free and not completely command economy. And it comes down to government involvement. You have a free economy that has very little government involvement. And then you have a mixed economy, which is what we have in most places, a little bit more. But that is less than command because command has lots of government involvement. The government's very involved in that market. In a free market, the government is free of restrictions. In a mixed, you have a mixture of people making decisions and businesses making decisions in that market, but also in the market, the government makes some decisions as well. It's called the public sector and the private sector. Again, this is the most common. This is what we have in the United States. Then there's this crazy thing called a traditional economy. The only thing you really need to know is if it pops up on a test. It's mainly based on survival. Eskimos or the Inuit practice this. This is, day to day. They're not really trying to create mansions and giant cities and own a lot of private property. They're just functioning on a day to day. You could say survival, but a better word would be subsistence. That would be a more politically correct way of describing it. If you've seen any of the zombie apocalypse type shows, and there's millions of them, they basically turn into survival economies. No one is running businesses. They're just trying to go day to day. Let's dig a little bit deeper, shall we, into our types of economies. And again, when we look at the different economies around the world, we could ask, what do they make? Why do they make it? And who makes it? Who buys it? So America, our economy for the longest time focused on automobiles, not so much anymore. We still do it. If you go to places in West Africa, their economy, what they make might be chocolate, cocoa beans. You see that oil is one of the big goods in the economies in the Middle East. So the next question is, should the government be involved in those economies? Should the government be involved in making cars, making chocolate? Or maybe you say yes, but then the next question is, how much should the government be involved in that marketplace that revolves around buying and selling and producing oil, or buying and selling and producing cars or chocolate? How much government should be involved? And that will give you the difference of the economies around the world. And that's where we get the different types of economies. So economies fall along a spectrum. You've seen this in the previous slide. Some have a lot of government involvement. We call those command economies. That would be Cuba, the Soviet Union, which is no longer in existence, North Korea. So these have all failed. Venezuela is failing at the moment. It is a command economy where the government is very involved in all of the decisions and has tried to treat everyone equal. And the problem is, would you rather let the government make the decisions or let the people make the decisions? And when the government makes the decisions and tries to create a utopia, it never really works. Some have little involvement. Those are the free economies. They are free of government involvement. Australia is an example of the most free. Hong Kong is a very free. Lichtenberg is a very free. Am I saying that? Lichtenberg? Well, whatever. And mixtures of government involvement in the United States. We're probably over here. We're not over here. We're not over here. Right in the middle. Goldilocks, right? Let's talk about specific examples and how this stuff all works out. So over here we got command, over here we've got free, and then we're kind of trying to find in between. Again, no one really is completely extreme over here on this side with a command economy, and no one is really, I mean, there's some that are pretty free like Australia, but for the most part, we're all kind of really in the middle when we talk about these decisions in the marketplace. So we're going to give you examples of marketplace actions, buying and selling of specific goods or services, and then asking the question, which really tells us the difference between types of economies, how much is the government involved? So if we went to a command economy, the government pays all your medical bills. The government is involved, and a lot of people really like it, and that's one of the reasons why people are attracted to socialism today. That's one of the reasons why people are attracted to communism today, because the government completely controls the healthcare and you don't have to worry about your healthcare costs. In a free economy, pay your own medical bills. A lot of people hate capitalism and they hate free markets because of that situation. I'm not going to go into the details, but typically over here, you get better care when you're paying more. And typically over here, you get worse care when you're paying less. It's just common sense. The more you pay, the better stuff you get. The less you pay, the less stuff you get. But you don't have to pay over here. Typically, what we have in America is somewhere in between. We have some government involvement, Medicare, Medicaid, but for the most part, you need to pay for your own medical bills. Again, that's an example of a mixed economy. Business. The government regulates the restaurants and the food producers. The government over here in the command economy, they may just simply say, you know what, we're just going to have a pizza places. Taco, nope. There will only be pizza places on every corner. The government decides, like, this is the most cheap, this is the most efficient, because at the end of the day, it's just about getting nutrition. It's about getting calories. And since the government controls and commands the economy, they decide, look, it's wasteful to kill cows and create hamburgers. It's wasteful to grow all these vegetables. We can use those vegetables, that corn, to make fuel to power our economy. And they ultimately decide the best plan for our country, to make our country stronger and to make things equal for everybody, is everybody gets pizza. You might like that at first, but believe me, once you eat pizza every single day, you're probably going to run into some problems. Over here, there's not very much regulation on business. You can open whatever business you want. You can run whatever business you want. The government's probably not going to be involved. Now, some businesses will be illegal because they harm people. For the most part, you want to start a new business tomorrow, go out there and get it. You don't have to get a bunch of contracts. You don't need approval by the government. You don't need to ask the government anything. You are free from government regulation. Over here, the government is very involved. Now, it's not completely free. Why did I put that up there? Well, some people argue if you don't regulate businesses, then you're going to get mouse burgers. You know, if there's not a food inspector, if the government's not involved, then we will get disgusting food. And we need the government to regulate food and food producers. That's why when you have health inspectors and you get that number by the drive-thru that says the food is safe, then that's what we need. We need the government to make sure people are being honest. We need to make sure that they're not poisoning us. Now, the people over here that believe in no regulation will say, yes, this could happen. But guess what? Imagine that McDonald's serves you a mouse burger, or a business serves you a mouse burger. Guess what you can do, folks, as an individual? You can choose not to go there anymore. And if enough individuals choose to not go there anymore, they'll go out of business and you don't need the government to get involved. Or if enough people stop going to the restaurant, they will have to change their ways. They'll have to change their behavior. They'll have to start serving better food if people start boycotting the store. You don't need the government to get involved, is what they say. And they say, yeah, right, that's not. You need big government to get involved. Choice. The economy will make hammer pants. Did I put the animation on here? The people can make whatever they want. Literally, I know this is an exaggeration, but in the command economy in Russia, you didn't have blue jeans. The government's like, it's frivolous. We don't need it. You just need regular pants. You don't need to have all these options of different pantses. Pantses? You don't need it. You only need like one pair of pants. We need to focus the economy. The government said we should focus the economy on making missiles so we can be the strongest country and take over the world. That's where we're going to spend our money, not on 15 different types of blue jeans, jeans with holes in them, acid wash blue jeans, khakis, leather pants. Why are we making so much pants, they say? Over here, it's like, whatever, man. You want to make leather pants. You want to make hot pants. You want cheetah print pants. You can do whatever you want. It's free. The government's not going to tell you what kind of pants to wear. Hammer time. This is the worst dance ever. Only music will be cats playing heavy metal. What? Look, again, choice is up to the command economy. Listen to whatever music you want. You're free of government regulation. Choice. Government decides who goes to school and what you will do for a living. In a command economy, the government, most of these command economies, they said, look, these are the smart kids. They're going to go to school. You are not the smart kids. See you later. Go find a job somewhere else. The government has control of the economy. They make the decisions. In a free economy, man, you go to school, you do whatever you want. But you also got to pay for it. Why is college expensive? Because we have a free economy that determines how much we got to pay for it. Property. Government owns it. You own your own property. Let's see if I can make it all the way through this. I know we're almost at the end. Property. Government owns it. You own it. Profit. No one makes money. The government provides you with what you need. There's no, I need a paycheck this week, because the government gives to everyone the same thing. There's a bunch of problems with that. I'm not going to go into the detail. But again, if they command what's bought and sold, they also command what you get. They command your income. In a free economy, you make what you want. The government's not going to give you a paycheck. Go out there and get it. And if you get rich, more power to you. And if you go out there and you get poor, well, I'm sorry. The government is free. You're free of government involvement. Over here, the government is so involved, it doesn't matter how hard you work, you get what they give you. And it doesn't matter how lazy you are, you get what they give you. Man, that is fancy. Probably not real. Oh, man. But that's what happens in a free economy. In a free economy and a mixed economy, you get what you earn. Over here, you get what they give you. There's no rich. There's no poor. Over here, you got a chance to be rich or poor. Competition. In a command economy, there's no competition. Like we mentioned before, it's probably just one pizza place. Over here, you got McDonald's and Burger King. The competition means better burgers, cheaper burgers, tastier burgers. If there's just one pizza place, there's no competition. They don't care. They're just, here's the same pizza that you've had for when you were 5 is the same pizza that you're going to eat when you're 25. It's the same piece of pizza you're going to eat when you're 50. It doesn't change. Why would they change it? They're not competing with anyone. They don't have to come up with any new ideas. They don't have to make the pizza better. They don't have to make the pizza cheaper. That's just one. There's no competition. In McDonald's, Burger King, Burger King is selling tacos now. What a world. What a world we live in that Burger King is, they're not Taco King, they're Burger King. You sell burgers. But because they're competing with a bunch of different restaurants, Burger King has to do a bunch of different stuff. They can't make as good quality as McDonald's. I'm sorry. Don't be a hater. McDonald's makes the best stuff. Facts. Burger King can't compete. And so what they have to do to get people to come to their restaurant, they can't win a battle head-to-head hamburger-wise with McDonald's. So they got to say, all right, well, but we got tacos. Man, I don't want a taco from Burger King. I got Taco Bell. Choice. Sweet tea is illegal because it's unhealthy. The government has complete control of the economy. They make the choices. Over here, man, drink sweet tea. If it kills you, it kills you. And unfortunately, we have a free and mixed economy, and there are a lot of people with serious health choices, health issues, because our government is laissez-faire when people are doing drugs, but people are drinking sweet tea, they're eating candy bars, they're drinking 15 energy drinks a day, they're drinking too much coffee. Over in a command economy, they probably tell you, Mr. Dietrich, 2 cups. That's it. You get 2 cups of coffee. No! You can obviously see I'm well past the 2 cups today. Healthcare, government pays for it. I mentioned that before. An example in a mixed economy like the U.S., we have the poor and the, we'll say low income, and the elderly get healthcare. School lunch, everyone gets a meal. You got to pay for it or you don't get a meal. Well, here again, in a mixed economy, we meet in between. Not everyone gets a free lunch. Not everyone gets it free, but we also don't deny people lunch if you don't have enough money. Low-income students, it's students free meals. College. All right, I think you get the idea. Jobs. Free economy, no government involvement. Everybody gets a job. Well, here we meet in the middle. If you lose a job and you need help, the government will help you out for a little bit. I think that pretty much wraps it up. Hopefully you understand the different types of economies.